What's up, guys? Just want to do a quick update video on my 2023 Toyota 4Runner TRD Off-Road Premium. Just got the Victory 4x4 all aluminum front bumper installed, including the high clearance wings that you can see. Just my opinion, but I think it came out fantastic looking. Better than I expected, to be quite honest. Decided to go with the aluminum because I personally wanted the weight savings. I was actually trying to avoid adjusting my suspension here, as you could see, or really having to replace the springs, which I did not have to replace the springs, but I am maxed out. Icon calls for this ring to be no further away from this ring by 2.13 inches, and I'm exactly at 2.13 inches, and the 4Runner sits perfectly level. Perfectly level. Actually, from middle hub to bottom of the fender in the front, I want to say it's 24.25. When I get about half a tank of gas, the rear sits about 24.5. So it's about a 1/4 inch higher in the rear when I get to about half or a 1/4 tank of gas, which in my opinion is perfect, because if you add a little weight, extra weight, camping or gear, or dogs or kids or whatever the heck's going back there, it evens out perfectly when you're driving down the road, and that's what I wanted. There's question, of course, on the pulling capabilities and the strength of aluminum, which, if you notice, a lot more companies are going to aluminum. This is 1/4 inch thick aluminum. I mean, it's gusseted and welded. I mean, if you could see behind here, which you can't, but if you could see behind there, it is directly to the frame, double weld. I mean, it's extremely strong. They actually had no concerns as far as pulling and winching and things. They actually did call me the next day after I ordered it to see what I'd be doing with the vehicle, which I thought was quite interesting. And that was actually one of their concerns, was where would I be taking the vehicle, what was in. I live in Florida. I've got nothing but sand and unfortunately mud, which I hate mud, but the sand is fun. And he said, actually, I think you're a perfect candidate for an aluminum bumper because I'm not going to be bouncing off rocks. The steel obviously is going to hold up better if you're smashing rocks, which I don't plan to. I hope to not have to ever. Yeah, I think aluminum works out just fine for me. With it, the whole thing being 40 pounds compared to, I don't know, I think it's 70 pounds or 80 pounds for just the bumper. I was actually going to go with a C4 bumper, which every guy that has like a stubby style bumper seems to go with. Which I love. I love the look. That's why this is a very similar look, but I wanted the aluminum for that weight savings. So, but yeah, I ended up having to max out the suspension in the front, which still rides perfectly fine, but at least I didn't have to exchange the springs up front. I don't plan to do anything more as far as weight-wise go to the front, so I'm hoping to not have to replace those springs. I did, however, replace the rear springs with some Dobson, I think they're 327s, which is for an extra 300 to 400 pounds of load in the rear or on the vehicle. I mean, I've got the water port, the Gobi roof rack, some recovery stuff. I've got a CVT awning on this side. Okay. There's my homemade little handle because I've got nowhere to grab to pull myself up. So my little ladder here in the back, and then the Molly system. So I gained a lot of weight on this vehicle. So the Dobsons got me right where I needed to be, back where I needed to be, perfectly level. So I shouldn't be adding any more weight to the rear of this, I don't think. So it should work out just fine. Now, once I do a rear bumper, if I do that, I actually have another CSC wheel that I bought for a spare. But for right now, I just decided I'm not going to do a rear bumper and cut all this up. And I don't know. I kind of liking the clean look of the 4runner, the way it looks in the back with the ladder and all that. And maybe down the road I will. I'm not sure. But right now I'm not doing it. I like the way it sits. Basically, you know, I've got some recovery gear, you know, tire plug stuff, glow sticks, you know, my onboard air equipment for blowing the kids' basketballs or, you know, rafts up or whatever. And then, you know, to do the tires if need be. I actually use some of my Kriega stuff from my Tenere 700, which I took off the bike before I sold it. Camping chairs, foldable camping chairs all up here. This striker light is actually quite awesome. It's one of those telescopic, this one's the 8-foot one. They now have a 10-foot one. Great light. The remote control is only supposed to go 15 foot. I've got it to about 60 foot. Excellent light and handy, you know, so if you go in your tent, you could just flip the switch and turn the camp light off, and then, you know, or if you need to get up in the middle of the night, you can hit it before you go out. Awesome light. So I think that's Striker, STKR, if you're interested. I have no affiliation with them. It's just been a great light so far. So yeah, the Molly system. The Molly system is by Rado, like Colorado. Let's see if you can see there. Not Rago, like R-A-G-O. I know there's another company out there. This, I ended up buying a blem set. So basically they said, well, it didn't pass their quality control because of scratches or powder coat. I'm telling you right now, I have not been able to find one scratch, one dent, one ding, anything on this. And I got it for like under $400. It was an unbelievable deal going with the blem set. So there's that. All right, and then I'll show you my onboard air. And as you can see, my aux beam is just about filled up. I've got 2 spots left. Air compressor, roof lights. I actually had to double switch these roof lights because they're 90 watts a piece. So I ran 2 to this switch, like the 2 in the middle, and then the 2 on the outside to this switch, because all 4 on one switch I think was going to be too much. After talking with my electrician, he said to do them on separate because of the wattage that they would pull. So that's what I did. So anyways, got 2 left. I got rear lights, front light bar, pod lights on the side, or pillar lights, and my air compressor, you know, phone holders, all that. Let me pop this hood here. So, onboard air. Actually, let me show you too my onboard air. I did a quick connect air chuck right in the front, so I would not have to open and close this hood whenever I wanted to air something up, which is, I always thought was super annoying. So I just run the air line from here to here, and then it goes down, zip tied all the way up down to the front. This is the Viver single air pump. It runs strong, but I'm gonna tell you right now it's garbage. But it was like only $110. So I'm not gonna try to complain too much. Their customer service kind of sucks too, but they are gonna send me a new one of these, which I don't know how that's gonna work. But the problem was, this is their connector. Their connector to the air tank leaks like crazy. It didn't matter how much thread tape I put on there, it leaks like crazy. So I had to use my own, and then thick thread tape, and it stopped. So it, as of right now, it works perfect. Doesn't leak any air, fills up, pressure switch cuts off at 150 psi, turns back on at 70, works perfectly fine. Do I regret not going? Because this is basically an ARB single pump clone. If I had to guess, it looks very similar to it. I guess it's a clone or something similar. I don't know, I think they're $400, maybe $450, maybe a little less, I can't remember. Basically I buy 3 or 4 of these over one ARB. Now one could say, well, you're never probably gonna have the issues with that one as you will with this one, and that may be true, but I could buy this 3 times at least over that one. So I don't know. 0 directions. It actually comes with everything you need to hook it up like the ARB. Let me sneak back inside. It's the wind. I'm trying to hang out in the garage because it's so windy out today. It actually comes with everything that you need to make it happen. The relay, the wiring. Now I used my own. I did use an extra fuse, inline fuse, which I had. There is one on it, but I kept that one on it. I added another one that goes to the relay from the battery. So there are a couple of things you need to get, but we're talking like under $5 or $8 or something for an inline fuse. And if you have extra wire laying around, 10 gauge, 12 gauge, that's what I used. A harness does come with it, but it's basically useless. The wires are too thin in my opinion too. So I've just trashed that. It's kind of sold as hook it up to the negative positive battery and then just air up your tires and it won't stop until you're done, whatever. Well, I wanted onboard air, and I wanted to be able to just plug in to my front bumper, not have to open my hood and air up my tires or my kids' stuff or whatever. And so that's what I did. So it is set up to be onboard air, but they don't necessarily sell it that way. It's just the ARB clone, and it comes with everything that the ARB basically gives you as well. So pick your poison. You pay more and you get the right stuff, or you pay a lot less and you got to figure it all out yourself if you're semi-mechanically inclined. I don't do a lot with relays, but I was able to figure it out because of some guy with air suspension. He showed how the relays work with the pump, so that's what I followed. And so far it works out great. And I've got, like I said, all sorts of inline fuses and relays, and it goes to my aux beam too. So that's got relay and it's protected through a fuse. So hopefully my vehicle doesn't burn down on me one day, and it shouldn't. So, but anyway, so that's kind of it. 4 Wheel Parts did the install on the front bumper. Which I would gladly pay again and again. Brian in the back, my local 4 Wheel Parts dealer, is phenomenal. He is the guy that I trust with my vehicles now. Awesome job. I was just too worried about screwing it up and cutting it wrong or cutting too much, and then that's it. You're screwed. Then you got to buy a whole new front piece. He did an awesome job. I cannot say enough about this guy. I would trust him with all my vehicles now. I wish he was here years ago because I had no one really to do any 4x4 stuff for me. And now he's awesome. So huge shout out to those guys, and especially Brian in the back. Great dude, cares about your stuff. Just did an awesome job. I think it came out phenomenal. So... windshield wiper container skid plate as well. I purchased. Just looks so much better than have that white plastic showing. I put a little extra plastic and cover just to cover it all up. And if rocks get thrown off, I just thought it'd protect it more. But yeah, this is how it sits, guys, right now. I think I've got about 750 miles on this vehicle so far. My poor Tacoma. That's my 23 Tacoma back there. That's my daily driver. I haven't barely done anything to it, which now that I've done all this to the 4Runner makes me kind of want to lift that one up. And really, this gets like 13.8 to 14 miles to the gallon, as decked out as it is with all this weight, the lift, the tires. And that Tacoma only gets about 17 and a half. So really, for as big and as different as this looks compared to my Tacoma, I feel like I don't know, 3 miles to gallon difference. I don't know. It's worth it. May just go and lift that one up too. So, anyways, there it is, guys. Extremely happy with it. I really did not want to add that winch, but we were out in the woods like a month and a half ago, and it was wet and muddy, and I got my kids and my wife and my dogs with me, and I thought to myself, man, if we ever really got stuck out here, we'd be so screwed. No one would find us, or it would be hours before someone could get to us and get us out. And what if they get stuck? I just figured, well, I had it all apart. and I really didn't want to spend the money, and more, I really didn't want to add the weight, but it worked out. I think it looks great. It's all even or all level, but I just figured for just in case, I might as well get it. So I had it all apart, so that's what I did. I hope to not ever have to use it, to be quite honest with you, but I guess it's there if I need it. So kind of back up here. You see, the awning's pretty awesome too. I've only used it once though, so. But there it is, guys. That's my update. Gonna go camping in the next, I think 3 weeks from now. Doing a camping trip. So I might have some videos, some pictures from that I'll post on and give updates. As far as motorcycles go, this is the only thing I got right now. The Ultra B, which is awesome. If you saw my other video on it, it's such an awesome bike. It's just not street legal. And I went down to Sun Sports yesterday, and it was probably not a great idea because I got the bike fever, I feel like, again. So I don't know. I'm really enjoying going out with the family in this all the time. Can't really take the family with the motorcycle. So anyways, there it is, guys. All right. See ya.